Demetrius Andrade calls out and rips into Chris Eubank and calls him out? So, according to both IFL TV and other YouTube sources, and even recorded footage, Demetrius Andrade claims that he offered, Chris Eubanks Jr. over $1 million, and that it would be a good payday for him due to the fact that he has 2 losses and that he has 4 kids. And he was using the argument that, that $1 million could be for your family and friends. Saying he's a superstar and, everybody's a superstar. Now, even in the realm of boxing, he isn't that popular, so I would never consider Demetrius Andrade a superstar. Eubank is more of a superstar than Andrade, to be honest, in terms of who's the bigger fighter. I truly believe that. And as for Demetrius Andrade, this dude has been avoided for so long. Oh my gosh, bro. Holy crap. Straight up. He has been so avoided. He was duck goose by Charlo. Definitely was, man. Nobody wants to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him at middleweight. He had to move up. He had to move up an entire division. He's in super middleweight now. He had to vacate his 160 WBO belt, man. He was really ducked by so many fighters. He was ducked by first of all, Billy Joe Saunders pulled out when the fight was already made, which is unfortunate. That fight they had a whole press conference for that fight as well. It was so close to happening. Andre called out Charlo before. He literally called out Charlo. Charlo was like, this is like in back in 2018. Charlo was like, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If the fight comes at the right. And Andrade's like, me. Like, come on, man. And it sucks because he's so good. I want to see him against many fighters. I would like to see him against GGG. I would like to see him against Canelo, but he stayed getting avoided. I can't recall a time where Andrade canceled a fight offer. He probably has, but if the offer is good enough, he's not that big of a star, so $1 million or above $1 million, over $1 million is a pretty good offer for the pedigree of the fighter, especially since he doesn't make that much or draw in that much of a crowd or an audience in the first place. And as for Eubank, I would hope he would. It would have made more sense for him to take the offer if he was 160 holding the WBO title. In my opinion, yeah, that would have made actual sense, because at least you're trying for a world title match. My only assumption with what Eubank's trying to do, I don't know what he's trying to do. I know he's trying to get a fight with Conor Benn at a 156, 154-esque catch weight. And I wonder how that fight's gonna go. I wonder how that's just gonna go. That fight's gonna look good. That fight's gonna be awesome. I cannot wait to review that. That's gonna be a good joint right there. That's gonna be a good one. And as for Demetrius Andrade, he had a fight with Zach Parker. What happened? What happened to that fight between him and Zach? Did somebody get injured? Hold up. Well, I ain't gonna search it up right now, but look, that fight was canceled, and I really was looking forward to seeing that. I'm typically a person who goes for the younger fighter, but in that case, I was gonna go with Andrade. I felt like Zach Parker wouldn't have won that. Or either it would have been close, but I don't think Zach Parker would have won. I think Zach Parker would have taken his first loss by an older gentleman in that fight. If you look at Andrade's resume, he had a fight with Jason Quigley, who was a good amateur, but who had a majority decision or I think a split decision over Shane Mosley Jr. Now, Shane Mosley Jr. isn't that good of a fighter. He's not a fighter who is elite in any sort of way. He's not an elite level fighter. And, after Jason won that fight, he went on to fight Andrade. And that fight was one-sided, so one-sided. And he got knocked out in 2 rounds. Like, Jason was trying to be patient, use his range. And Andrade wasn't having it. It's not like he rushed him. He just closed the range in a very intelligent fashion and made Quigley pay for his attempts at trying to give distance. And his last fight was against Liam Williams, right? All right. Look, despite contrary belief, look, I think Liam Williams was beaten by Andrade better than Eubank still. I do not think that Eubank beat... I don't think that he beat Eubank in that good a fashion. I don't think he did. Wait, not. I don't think that Eubank beat Williams in that good a fashion. All right. Look, I know he dropped him like 80 million times, but except for those rounds, Williams was boxing the hell out of him. He was straight boxing him out. He was outboxing him. He was outboxing him completely. Like, and Eubank would do this like stupid stuff where he would like try to establish distance and try to like box like Muhammad Ali dancing around the ring, but he was still losing those rounds. He was getting outboxed in the process of trying to be all slick or Ali box type. I don't know what the heck he was trying to do. You know, despite how many times he knocked him down, I felt as though the Andrade victory was a lot more comfortable in the first place. I feel like it was far more comfortable, and I felt like Andrade was winning more convincingly without having to drop him so many times. He was actually outboxing him. Eubank, on the other hand, I don't think so. If that fight had no knockdowns, the scorecard of that fight would have been like 114, 112 or something because of excessive holding. So they take like 2 points away from both of them or something like that. Or like 115, 113, 115, 113, 116, something a lot closer than the Demetrius Andrade fight, or even a majority decision. If Eubank dropped him like once, only like one time, it would have been like 114, 113, and like 115, 112. It would have been a real close decision. He beats the likes of Luke Keeler even earlier than that. That's a good performance. He ran over Luke Keeler. It's like ever since he came to like 160, he had more of like an athletic, active style than he once did. It's like his own style, but over-exaggerated, basically. But he was always that type of fighter who had like a lot of athleticism and activity, and well, not activity, but like just the way how he fights. It gives problems to a lot of fighters, you know. It gives problems to everyone. Like even Sean Porter said it was a nightmare he's a nightmare to fight, basically. He's a nightmare. And he spoke very highly about Demetrius Andrade. And no wonder why. I mean, if y'all search up the Demetrius Andrade versus Keith Thurman sparring, you'll know what he's talking about. Man, when Keith Thurman was sparring Andrade, he was like, yo. Well, he wasn't like yo at all, but his facial expression when he was sitting down, he was like, oh my gosh. I wonder how it would go if they actually fight. Well, I'm obviously going to pick Andrade based off of that sparring footage. And even if I didn't see the sparring footage, probably in general too, because of his style. Not only is he like an active fighter, but he's also a skilled one. He's also a skilled fighter who can utilize distance as well, along with a very active style. Like if a smaller guy who's more skilled moves up, I'll probably pick the smaller guy. But if the smaller guy moves up and I actually think that the bigger guy is more skilled, I'm probably going to pick the bigger guy. Like, yeah. So as for Andre, he's been calling everyone out. He's been doing this. Jamal Charlo don't want the smoke for some reason. I guess he sees something. He ain't even giving him the time of day. He never gave him the time of day. Even when he was a 154 fighter. Demetrius Andrade trying to be legendary by unifying, but Charlo ain't giving him no chance. He tried to, I'm pretty sure he tried to unify the IBF with the WBO at 154. They were all in the same promotion at one point. Weren't they all in the same? Wasn't Demetrius Andrade a PBC fighter at one point? Then he moved to the zone. Like, so it's unfortunate because Andrade is 34. His athleticism is going to eventually start to weigh down. His speed is going to start to eventually weigh down. His age is going to start taking a toll on him. Eventually, his age is going to really start taking a toll. He's not 24 anymore. He's 34. He's older now. And his career is almost like very close to going to the dusk because of this. Like, he was a great fighter too. He was a really good fighter. It's just, it's unfortunate what's been happening now to his career. And that, yeah, man, that was shoot, man. Wow. Well, he's at 168. You know, let him fight Edgar Berlanga. That's a perfect style matchup. You know why? Edgar Berlanga has stubby legs. You know what? No. Put him against Berlanga. Yeah. Or just put him against Zach Parker again, and the fight makes it actually official though. One of those should happen. One of these fights should happen. Put him against Canelo already. He may never get that fight. It's unfortunate. All right, so let me know your opinions about this fighter. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, and comment too. Yeah. So if you guys enjoyed this, and if you guys have your own opinions, please say it in the comment section.